drop, drip, drop. The substance falls, hitting the ground with a subtle impact. The ground recedes, creating a cushion with such to allow a subtle impact. Hopefully, if the ground is concrete, the substance will surely splatter its contents up into the air, and many other falls occur, which decrease the volume of the substance into smaller particles. Now, if the ground is a plush carpet, the substance will surely be absorbed, never having to undergo a fall in which it loses volume ever again. The substance is never truly fixed, however, only repurposed. Ishmael Bia, a Sierra Leonean soldier, became a killer as a 14-year-old boy. Stop. Think. What were you worried about as a 14-year-old? When you would get those new shoes in the mail? When Justin Bieber's new album would come out? Maybe you even had to risk making Captain Crunch cereal without knowing if you had milk in the fridge. Ishmael Bia was worried about one thing, though, and that is the question of whether he would live another day on this earth. We all face different levels of adversity as adolescents. Many point to the serious cases where tragedies such as rapes or family deaths as life-debilitating issues, especially at such a minor age. The only problem, though, is that we often focus on how bad an adversity is rather than how to respond to it. This can be seen when examining Bia's story. Our first thought is usually, how dare that happen? Our world is falling apart. Why would God do this? I'm sorry, but ever since Adam and Eve, we do not live in a perfect world. Adults do have the experience in life to respond adequately. Now the question remains on how the children of our society should be treated. Do we dare allow them to engage in high-pressure adult situations that entail adversity and possible life-threatening situations? Do we dare let them fall? Stress can be a major cause of a child's negative outlook on life and may lead to more severe problems later in life. The types of stress that one may experience can be divided up into two groups. Toxic stress, the most severe of the types, is the frequent involvement of intensely harsh adversity that is placed upon a child. Examples are seen through the situations that form emotional or physical abuse, with emotional possibly relating to constant bullying and physical possibly correlating to sexual assault. Of course, this is all based on your opinion of strong adversity, and that's okay, as long as you understand that the fact that your phone charger won't reach the bed is not an example of toxic stress. Real toxic stress is actually quite harmful to not only your emotional health, but also the own makeup of your body. The prolonged activation of these situations without adult support or that soft cushion to fall on interrupts the architecture of the brain and several other organs as toxins are released. Consequences also include the possibility of stress-related diseases and cognitive impairment. Wait for it, well into adult life. The more common type of stress, positive stress, is actually valuable according to Harvard professors. Positive stress is based on feelings such as nervousness. This releases important hormones and causes slight increases in heart rate, advantageous for the one undergoing positive stress. While this form of adversity has been shown to be healthy, it still does not support the argument that harsher adversity is beneficial. Even as teenagers, we undergo positive stress every day through having to meet new people and adjust to changing homework loads. Yet if the child is spoiled in a zero-stress environment, he or she will undertake unhealthy habits and lack the ability to cope with the real world, which certainly does not spoil its inhabitants. It's all a balancing act according to the Harvard professors. A balancing act that can alter our own bodies in ways that we cannot control. Hey you, give me your lunch money. Bullying has become a heavily discussed topic around our school system, often leaving us to despise bullies and take pity on the bullied. We often see educational videos that depict overdramatic scenes in which a kid is thrown against a locker or the kid must do the bully's homework for him in order to not be beaten up. However, we rarely see these events occur, and if we do, our first reaction is to play it off like the two are joking, and because, well, we're busy, or maybe we just don't care. I used to believe that bullying did not exist, at least until I listened to Shane Koiksan, a motivational speaker and poet who wrote To This Day, something we all need to listen to. So make sure to do that. Now, he convinced me that the constant name-calling and exclusion by peers does lead to emotional distress that can often lead to depression and even suicide. The stanzas that really hit my ignorant self hard were these. I'm not the only kid who grew up this way, surrounded by people who used to say that rhyme about sticks and stones, as if broken bones are more than the names we got called, and we got called them all. So we grew up believing no one would ever fall in love with us, and that we'd be lonely forever. You've experienced it, I've experienced it, but a school bullying video never helped me in situations where I was under pressure to be someone I was not. There has to be another solution. Now, for some, the only solution is suicide. So why do I even argue that adversity will lead to a stronger person if allowing a child to experience hardship could possibly lead to death? I honestly do not know. I just know that something needs to change. Perspective needs to change. That little landing of ours needs to be made stronger and softer. If the substance never falls as a small formation, then when it falls as a larger formation, it will certainly be unsure of how to respond and will suffer an incredible impact, no matter the landing surface, all due to its size. If a person never falls as an adolescent, then when he or she falls as an adult, the adjacent will occur. Dr. Siri, a renowned professor, examined the effects of adversity in the hopes of proving that adversity does promote important resilience virtues for later in life. Through one scientific study, he documented the behavior of infant monkeys, which can be compared to the adolescent humans in their relative developmental stages. Half of the monkeys were given absolute control over their environment in which they could eat, drink, or rest as much as they pleased, relating to the spoiled child of our society. The other half were given no control over their delivery of food, water, and use of rest, correlating to the impoverished and starving kids of our society. Still, with the support of their mothers, however, the half that experienced incredible control tended to be less fearful and more exploratory as adult primates, but often resulted in reduced lifespan. The less fortunate infants learned to be calmer when they did not receive food than the formerly spoiled age, thus resulting in them being stronger and more agile. They lived more productive and happier lives with the support of their parents to help them along, while still allowing adversity to seep into their lives, catching them when they fell. When humans are placed under uncontrollable disadvantages right from the get-go in life, they have a deeper understanding of the real world that is about to bombard them. Dr. Siri also analyzed chronic back pain that persists through all of one's daily tasks. The patients who had experienced, quote, some serious adversity were able to move quicker and more efficiently than the patients who had experienced constantly powerful adversity, and even more than those undergoing no notable adversity at all. Moderation is key. I understand that intense and frequent adversity is truly damaging, but I believe that the exceptions are bound to occur through due diligence and support. Support that creates a soft landing. Ishmael Bia, for example, is an exception. Who would you rather admire? Someone who inherited a boatload of money, let's just say a small loan of $1,000,000, and built himself an extreme empire, or one who came from absolutely nothing and built a lesser empire that could be shared with all social classes? I hope the answer is obvious. Even though many recognize the bullying that took place in Shane Koiksan's life as another example of the world's tragedies, I see it as a success. If Koiksan had never gone through the experiences that he did, he would never be able to reach the number of lives he has. If Ishmael Bia had never undergone the pressures of being a child soldier, he would have never written his book, never would have made it to America, and I'd have never cared enough to think about our society as deeply as I am now. The most important part is that Shane's landing was his caring grandmother, and Ishmael's landing was UNICEF. It's all about the landing. While the adolescents of our society undergo strong adversities that can impact their lives forever, these hardships may actually and tend to actually promote above-average human with greater ability to express resilience during their adult years. Yes, several children do deal with tragedies such as divorce, death, and parental neglect, and even sexual assault. Yes, I do understand. But I could go on for days about all those adversities, but in the end, life happens. The only thing that we can truly control is how we respond to these events. I propose that we focus on changing our perspectives in regards to the ways in which we throw pitiful attitudes towards those broken yet experienced people, and instead look at them as stronger individuals, experienced individuals. To fulfill this proposal, we need to bring in people like Shane Koiksan and Ishmael Bia to our schools. They don't have to be well known either, just people that have found light in the darkness. We flood our schools to carry all the droplets into freedom. To create the attitude that will be even more ready, we must institute programs that foster new perspectives. Now, you may ask, if I'm broken, will I ever get fixed? The answer, well, it all depends on your definition of being fixed. All I know is that our lives will go in many directions, directions we never knew existed. The substance is only being repurposed for something greater. Drip, drop,